What's up, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes delivering another MMA superstar. This time it's Tyson Nam, straight out of Hawaii, now out of Portland. I hope I got that right. Fights in the flyweight division and the bantamweight division.
That.
What's that?
Flip-flop that. Used to be in Portland, now in Hawaii.
Oh, back in Hawaii. All right, cool. All right. So, Tyson, great to have you on. I see that you and Matt Schnell have been rebooked, and you guys are going to Fight Island this time. So tell me about it. Is that what you wanted when Schnell fell out? Did you want to preserve that fight booking and just wait him out, or were there other names that were thrown your way?
Well, I personally called out Joseph Benavidez. I thought that would be a meaningful fight for myself, that he actually fought two of my friends that he beat. But I guess the UFC really liked this matchup between Matt Schnell and I, and decided to give him another go at it. So I'm not one to turn down any fights. I had a personal preference, but it seems that they really want this fight to happen.
Hey, Tyson, keep it real. As far as Benavidez, is it one of those where, like, I would like to compete against that gentleman who defeated two of my opponents, or is it more like, man, I want to jack that fool up? He took out two of my cats.
The second option. I carry a lot of personal pride with my friends, my family, and I just always like the thought of punching Joseph Benavidez in the face.
All right, let's not get carried away. You don't like the guy? He's like the nicest guy in the world.
No, I mean, yeah, he's the nicest guy and he's really good. And myself as a competitor, I love competition, and that would be competition at its finest, especially to test myself, because I believe that's where I should stand, should be at the top of the flyweight division.
Okay, I thought I was going to have to call UFC security and say, hey, if those two are in the same area at the UFC PI, let's start separating them. They got beef.
No, he's nice. I'm a nice guy, and there's no animosity toward each other. Just a good old fashioned competition.
Flyweight is your division. You recently fought at bantamweight, but I get it, with COVID and everything getting shifted around. You guys have a lot of fighters have been jumping around, But tell the people what those 10 pounds do mean. Is it just basically a lot easier on your mind, well, I know it's a lot easier on the body, but is it also something where your mind just relaxes? Can you get more workouts in per week? What's the trickle effect that people don't know behind the scenes when you are giving, those types of options?
Well, making the flyweight division for myself is no easy task, just because I'm one of the bigger flyweights in the division. So that extra 10 pounds is just pure death. Like, usually I'll be able to get within 10 pounds, and then it's all water weight. The first like 3 or 4 pounds is cake, and then every single ounce after that is just pure death. It's literally a form of torture, if I might say so. But with making those extra 10 pounds, it actually makes myself be that much more disciplined. I have to work out that much harder to actually make that weight. 135, I mean, I could do that fairly somewhat easily, but making the 125 is just a lot of discipline. Trying to cut out the finer things in life, as sugar, sweets, desserts, maybe having a slice of pizza here and there. None of that when it comes down to it. It's just a nice lean old steak and very little carbohydrates to try to get down to that flyweight division. So it's very hard on top of my body, but I know that I am actually in better shape when I do compete at the flyweight division.
So has this been you during the holidays with family?
Yes. Well, it's almost kind of like the same thing, because it's the holidays, but it's COVID holidays, so it's not like we're having those big gatherings. We're kind of just sticking to the groups that we see on a normal basis. Just my cousins. We're not really allowing the older folks to venture out and about, since they are the ones that are more susceptible than us younger, healthier generation. So it's definitely a lot smaller with the gatherings these days, but hopefully sooner than later we'll be able to see everybody once again.
Tyson, just recently at the top of your division, one of the best flyweight fights of all time. And I was curious, for you personally watching that fight, do you have a preference when it's your time, when you get up there and you get your title shot? Is there a preference of who you would want to be up there on top?
It didn't matter between those two, Figueiredo and Moreno. Man, they really brought it. They really came down to fight. There was um, barely a step back, and they were just it. It was a firefight from start to finish, and definitely one of the greatest flyweights fights. One of the greatest fights in UFC history. It was just back and forth, rock'em sock'em action all the way through from minute one to the end. And I was very excited. I'm pretty sure every single person that was watching that fight was on the edge, on top of their the edge of their seat, just waiting for something big to happen. And it was a very well deserved fight of the night, bonus for both of those guys.
In regards to your career physically, how do you feel? Because really, if you look at your record overall, some could even say you faced even tougher competition before you got to the UFC. Like you've faced some killers throughout your run here. Where do you feel physically? Is this Tyson Nam in his prime?
I actually feel like I'm heading into my prime, even though I am 37 years young. It's a really weird feeling for myself, just because I know that I am a late bloomer in life, whether it was just sports, just maturing, and because I felt myself actually gather my man strength right around age 33, 34. So I actually feel a lot better. I feel like I'm actually in better shape than when I was in my mid 20s, just due to a healthier lifestyle. I used I used to eat like shit when I was younger, just because I guess I guess you just never take notice of it. But when I started training with Ricky Simone, you guys might know the name. He really showed me that eating healthy does go a long way, just with just being in condition, just athletically. And I really thank him for that. I really thank him for finding that sort of a training partner to show me things that I really was taking for granted. So in 2021, I actually feel like I'm actually still peaking, even though timeline wise, a lot of athletes are heading downhill.
You mentioned earlier in the interview, George brought up Joseph Benavidez, and you said it seemed like maybe the matchmakers really just like to keep this fight intact. But does that mean that that fight will go away? Are you kind of over it, or if a win here, or would you maybe like to revisit that matchup?
Yeah, I knock out Matt Schnell three in a row. I want Joseph Benavidez. I want him to make that four in a row. So I'm still very adamant about that call out. But I know that he does have a date with Askarov, so I might have to choose another dance partner if January 20th works out in my favor.
Fans and media love it when you guys call fighters out. It allows us to construct the stories, the storylines, the timelines, the possibilities. So yeah, man, that was great that you did that. Whether it changes and it becomes another name, as you continue through 2021, that's great, man. I think more fighters should do it. I don't think it's overlooking your opponent at all, because it's not like we can go to the back to the last event and then ask all the winners and go, "Hey, you won because you didn't call anyone out." I mean, everyone's mapping out their year, right? Heck, in a few days, in a few hours, we're going to be writing down our resolutions and our goals for 2021. And I imagine you probably want to get 3 fights in a year, or are you trying to be Kevin Holland and maybe get 5?
I wanted to have four, but due to certain things that was going on, we had to push back the fight from December to January. I was a little upset at that because I haven't had four fights in a year since I first started in 2006. So I was really trying to crack four fights out in a year again, and but I feel like I'll be able to get that in 2021.
Tyson, if you don't mind, I know that you're in the UFC now, and I know we got another fight with Matt Schnell coming up, but I've always been curious about 2012 when you upset Eduardo Dantes at Shudo, Brazil. He was the Bellator champ, if I'm not mistaken, and you cracked him. And that was obviously considered a huge upset because of Dantes being a major belt holder. Do you feel like going back to that fight, did they just kind of bring you to showcase Dantes? I mean, I think that's what it looked like back then, but I just remember it being a massive upset. And then since then, I don't even know if Dantes was ever the same. I mean, he still won some good fights, but I mean, at that time, like him and Henan Barao, like I remember people would go, "Wow, I don't know which one's better." You know what I mean? Because Henan was ruling the UFC and Eduardo was doing his thing in Bellator. But do you remember the circumstances throughout that fight and that whole night?
I remember it like it was yesterday. It was definitely one of the biggest and my well the first huge highlight of my career. Just me coming out, just a little old boy from Hawaii coming out against Eduardo Dantes. And yes, he was the Bellator bantamweight champion on like some sort of like 7 or 8 win streak, just running through guys in Bellator. And I was definitely brought over to be one of his highlight reels. I believe I was picked because he needed to stay busy, and that's why they probably wrote the rule that their champion or any big promotions champion is not allowed to fight outside their banner anymore, due to good old me. Thank you. but but yeah, I was brought over. Everybody was so nice, and I knocked that guy out, and now all of a sudden restaurants didn't even want to serve me food until we left. It was it was a great time. It was a great time, actually, especially that night. After that happened, they literally sent us to the hotel, and I just had one of my corner guys, and we're thinking like, oh damn, they probably just told the whole country exactly what room we're at. We're probably gonna get a knock on our door probably anytime soon. So let's take these beers we bought. We're gonna hide out on top of the beach and just drink in secret until like 2 a.m. or something of that sort. So that's how we celebrated on top of the Flamingo Beach in Rio. Literally just me and my corner guy, with just knowing that the entire world is just going ape shit over what just happened.
Did you really get a sense that you weren't liked and something could, is that just a fun story to tell, or did you really get that vibe in the fighter hotel, like, hey man, people aren't happy right now?
No, literally we went, well, they said get in the bus because I don't know, maybe I was taking like a couple minutes too long to gather my belongings. But even the next day, we're like, damn, we're not we don't leave for like another 12 hours. We should probably go and have a meal. And they said that we can eat at this restaurant right next to the hotel for free. We go over there, and the lady comes and looks at us like, you can't eat here. And then we're like, how come? Because you beat my friend. So we're like, shit. So that's what we literally got. So we're kind of starving the whole time, but it was okay because we knew we was gonna get a meal sooner or later. A couple of hours being hungry wasn't gonna spoil our fun.
Wow, that's interesting, man. I'm glad I asked you about that. I had always wondered about that back then. And yeah, I had a feeling that would probably change the rule. I think it was even Bjorn Rebney at the time.
That asshole.
Oh.
That asshole. We're gonna talk about that guy too.
How come you don't like Bjorn
2012. You beat a world champion. You're supposed, and you're not under contract. You're supposed to get picked up by the greatest promotion, which would have been the UFC, which he put a stop and a hold to that just because I beat their champion. He said that they had matching rights because I was supposed to be in their tournament, which they actually canceled. And you figure that if you cancel someone's contract, they're free and clear to do whatever they want to do. But all of a sudden, contracts are being brought out and things are being stopped because I I believe that I was supposed to actually have fought Uriah Faber after that fight, if I was not mistaken. That's what my manager told me within the next coming weeks. But then all of a sudden, a couple of days after that, then they said that, oh, you're still under Bellator. Like, I never even fought for Bellator. So I'm not too keen with that name, Bjorn Rebney.
You won't be having any Mai Tais with him if he comes to Hawaii, it sounds like.
No. If I see him, I'm punching him square in the face on sight.
Oh, man. All right. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. But in the meantime, I want you to have a safe camp. Happy New Year. And good luck against Matt Schnell in Yas Island. Can't wait for that one. Flyweight division's popping, man. There's a lot of you guys that have come back to UFC or dropped from 35 and they're doing their thing again. And some new blood's been added, veterans like yourself. So I think this division is really, really going to, take that next couple step in these next few years. Kind of like the way the bantamweight division's been popping. I think the flyweights are next.
Yep. I truly beve it in my heart that these lighter weight classes is going to be definitely put on display in these next few months. Everybody will notice and why that we are what we should be showcased.
Definitely.
But Happy New Year, guys. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Take care, my man. Appreciate it.
All right.